Once upon a time, between 2007 and 2010, the bustling city of Aba, the commercial heartbeat of Abia State, became a ghost town. Businesses crumbled, families fled in fear, and those who remained lived in constant dread. The streets whispered a name that carried terror: Osisi Kanko. Osisi Kanko, born Obioma Nwankwo, was not just a criminal, he was a nightmare personified. From Abia State to Obiwo, now Oyibo in Rivers State, he and his merciless gang of over 3,000 men turned kidnapping into an industry. No one was off limits. Wealthy businessmen, government officials, expatriates, and even ordinary people who were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. To live in Aba during Osisi Kanku's reign was to live in terror. The fear was so intense that people abandoned their homes, preferring to sleep in churches rather than risk being snatched from their own beds. Entire neighborhoods became desolate. Ariara Junction, Umozo, Obehi, Aluji, St. Mary Catholic Church area, Orata, people packed their belongings and ran for their lives. Kidnappings became a daily occurrence. One of the most heart-wrenching cases was that of Chijoke Igodo, a well-known businessman in Ariaria. Osisi Kanku's men originally came for his older brother Tochukwu Igodo, who was still recovering from surgery. In an act of heartbreaking sacrifice, Chijoke volunteered to go in his place. His family eventually secured his release, but many others were not so lucky. Osisi Kanku's grip on terror extended far beyond Aba. His gang infiltrated Rivers State, where they kidnapped 3 British nationals and a Colombian engineer from Shell power plant station. Ransoms were paid and they were released, but the trauma lingered. His list of victims grew up. In 2010, he kidnapped 2 Germans, 3 Chinese nationals, and 9 Nigerian workers at the Nigerian Steel Company. He abducted Mrs. Victoria Ori, the wife of a wealthy Ohofia businessman. He seized 3 journalists who had been traveling through Aba after a Nigerian Union of Journalists meeting. A 30 million naira ransom was demanded for their freedom. Then came the most devastating attack. August 24, 2010. Osisi Kanku's men, led by a ruthless thug called Okute Stone, launched an all-out assault on 5 banks in Osisioma, Aba. Every police officer and security guard on duty was executed. Religious leaders weren't spared either. His gang kidnapped a prominent pastor, murdered an Indian businessman, and in a particular shocking case, abducted and killed Dr. Stanley Uche, a respected gynecologist and hospital owner. But the act that sent shockwaves across Nigeria happened on September 27, 2010. The kidnapping of 15 school children from Abai International School in Aba. At that moment, the entire nation took notice. In the height of the notoriety, Osisi Kanko unexpectedly gave an interview to a journalist. He claimed that his violent actions were not for personal gain, but to protest the marginalization of Ngwa land, the largest ethnic group in Abia State. According to him, Okwa Ngwa had been abandoned, and his reign of terror was meant to force the government to pay attention. He even hinted that he was willing to surrender if the government promised to rehabilitate him. But by then, it was too late. His crimes had already defined him. The world had seen his true nature. The kidnapping of innocent schoolchildren proved to be his downfall. The outcry reached President Goodluck Jonathan, who immediately ordered the Joint Military Task Force (JTF) to hunt him down. Few weeks Soldiers pursued him, tracking him down into the deep Ugwati evil forest, his impenetrable hideout. The final confrontation was brutal. Gunfire raged through the thick forest, and when the dust settled, Osisikanku lay dead. His once mighty gang scattered. His girlfriend Ogechi was captured, and a massive arsenal of weapons was recovered. The news of Osisikanku's death spread like wildfire. Aba, a city that had been held hostage for years, erupted in celebration. Shops reopened, families returned home, and slowly life returned to normal. But the scars of those evil years remain. The memories of loved ones lost, businesses ruined, and lives shattered can never be erased. If you live in Aba at that time, you likely have your own story of survival. Did you or someone you know experience the terror firsthand? Share your story in the comments. Let's keep history alive and ensure that no one ever forgets what Aba endured.